this is Jamie Magridge. Welcome to Jamie's Craft Table. Today I'm going to show you how I made this card. It uses colored pencils, and this one I use Gamsol to color it, to smear it, but I'm going to also show you how you can use the Stampin' Up! Blender pens. So let's get started here. I'm using Encircled in Friendship. I used the Painted Texture 3D embossing folder. I used the second and the third from the largest of the stitched rectangle dies. I have this one is cut out from the third largest. It's white. I have a piece of black that's cut out from the second largest. I have a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch piece of Daffodil Delight that I've run through that embossing folder. Then I have my card base, which is thick white, which is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored and folded at 4 1/4. I keep my colored pencils in one of the stamp cases. This is 2 sets of pencils. I've already taken out my colors. I have Bermuda Bay, Cajun Craze, Old Olive, Garden Green, Pumpkin Pie, and Daffodil Delight. You can use any colors you want. Alright, so let's get started. Dimensional backing. Okay, so I'm going to bring it in. I'm only using Tuxedo black ink. And I'm going to stamp with this flower from the sort of in the middle, but on the left side. Perfect. Okay, then I'm going to come in with the sentiment with heartfelt thanks. Okay, here. Stamp that underneath it. Oh, I smeared it. So you know what I'm going to do? Let's bring in a little piece of scrap. Stamp it there. Okay. We'll make it work. That's all the stamping. Now I'm going to come in with my colored pencils. And it kind of annoys me. I'm going to start with the darker of the two of the pencils. I'm going to start with Cajun Craze. Down in the bases of these petals, I'm going to put a little bit of Cajun Craze. And with this technique, you don't necessarily have to be neat. You're just putting the color in. A little bit up here where these lines are. Okay, I'm going to come in with a pumpkin pie. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to leave a little bit of the Cajun Craze at the bottom, and then I'm going to go a little bit higher and add some of this pumpkin pie in here. Line of it here. Okay, then I'm going to come in with the Daffodil Delight. I'm going to just scribble in some Daffodil Delight. I'm not coloring the whole petals. Coloring a little bit over the pumpkin pie. Missed a petal here. Let's do this one all yellow. Okay, then for the greens, I took my garden green. I put the garden green down here at the bottom, a little bit on the lines going up, and I colored in the stems. Down here at the bottoms, anywhere where it would overlap it. Probably would help if I'd move this so it wasn't a firm surface. I could get a darker color. Okay, then I'm going to come in with the Old Olive. I'm basically doing the same thing I did before. I'm overlapping a little bit of that other green. But I'm leaving some of the white space. Okay, now I have Gamsol in one of these little push button things, and my I forgot what these are called. It's rolled up paper. I use it for chalk art as well. Ooh, just dripped on there. I wasn't supposed to do that, but basically you want to get the Gamsol to wick up the end of your pen, and you're going to just color over the top of this. It's going to blend that pencil. It's going to make it move. It blends it together. What's nice about this is it does it without pilling the paper too much, as long as you don't go over it too much. When the stump starts squeaking, then you need to get a little bit more of that Gamsol. Okay, but Stampin' Up! Has these blender pens. Now my tips are stained, but if I bring in a paper, it doesn't come off colored. So I'm going to go ahead and use that and show you. This works very similarly, but it will pill the paper if you're pressed too hard. So okay, so you can do the same thing with these. This will dry clear, I hope. Okay, and I would do all of one color first, And then wipe off any color that's on there, and then do the other color. Hey, bit. I'm gonna get you down, okay? Come on. Thank you. I like the Gamsol better. It just does a nicer job for me. But I like the Stampin' Blends because it gives you a little bit of control. So the blender pens. So 6 or 1/2 dozen. They both work. They both work very well. Okay. So you can see that. Hopefully this dries clear. Hit it with my heat tool and see if that does. So hold on, I'll be right back. Okay, that dried clear. That's good. I mean, if you hold it up to the light, you can see the watermark like effect, but it didn't leave a watermark on my card that's visible. So that's good. Wipe this off. Okay, since I smeared this, let's bring this in. And I'm just going to cut around it and adhere it on there. Oh, I almost forgot the background. Let me just get this cut real fast. I think that'll work. Not going to be quite as curvy on the bottom. Okay, now to do the outline, it's the same thing. I just came in with the Bermuda Bay. Started inside the flowers. Scribbled in some color. On the outside, I just tried to stay in somewhat of a circle. You don't have to draw one in or anything. I just kept it in that basic rough circle shape. Doesn't take long to do. If you like coloring, this is a good one to do. The nice thing about it is it's a messy coloring, so you don't have to be particularly neat as long as you're staying in your lines. You're just scribbling in color and then spreading it around with either the Gamsol or the blender pen. Almost done. Okay. Come in with the blender pen, and again I start on the inside, blend that out around the flowers. You don't want to scrub the paper or it will pill, so you want to just do a very light, gentle blending. You know, I'm not applying much pressure. I'm just gently rubbing and on the edges I'm going outside the circle. See, I just pilled it there. I'm going outside the circle to try and soften that edge a little bit. You can't go over a place you've already done with the blender pen. Bring in the Gamsol. See how it's wicking up there? I didn't clean off my brush from the yellow, or the blending stump from the yellow, and it just added a little bit of yellow to the background there. That's alright. See, the Gamsol doesn't pill the paper as much. Okay, so there's that. Put the cap on this. Let's bring in some mini dimensionals and see if I can pop this up. I'm going to actually use a little bit of a edge because I think I need skinnier ones. Now you wouldn't have to do this, except, like I said, see how I smeared it? So I'm hiding it. You could just stamp it right on there like I did my original. A way to avoid that would be to use your Stamparatus. Then it wouldn't smear. Okay, awesome. I'm going to layer this onto this black layer. Come on. There's going to be a equal border all the way around it. And let's mount this 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch piece of Daffodil Delight that I ran through that embossing folder. And this is the same size as the front of the card. Alright. Now I could mount this on foam dots as well. I didn't on my original, Let's go ahead and do that just so you can see the difference. I'm just going to go down at this left side. I made it so that the left side and the bottom were the same approximately edge. Okay, then I brought in some gems. I would have used my holiday rhinestones, but they're gone. So I'm going to use these ones that I had in my stash. I got more on the way, but they're not going to make it in time. So take your pick tool, works better. Pick it up, put one down here. A couple up here. There we go. This card I just made with you. I added the dimensionals to it. Here's the one I did previously, which is all flat. There's no dimension. And I did another piece just as an experiment. I thought maybe that would look good. It's a scallop contour die instead. Gives you all kinds of options. Well, thank you so much for joining me today at Jamie's Craft Table. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope you can find a little bit of time to play with some stamps, ink, and paper.